Greetings everyone out there in trading land. Jake Bernstein and
Elliot Bernstein here.
with the 5-minute trading tips for today. Today we're going to talk about market sentiment. I'm going to let Elliot talk to you about market sentiment and then I'm going to show it to you.
We know there's an inverse correlation between market sentiment and market behavior. When traders are most bullish, markets tend to top. When traders are most bearish, markets tend to bottom. At least that's the popular belief. What we have to ask ourselves is there a way to quantify this relationship? Turning market sentiment into numbers is the only way that we can actually put it to use in our trading systems. Today, Jake is going to show you one of the tools that we use to assess market sentiment and tops and bottoms.
In the past, traders have used market sentiment indicators such as odd lot short sales and other market sentiment indicators such as percentage of bullish, percentage of bearish, but very few traders have actually been able to get the sentiment from the small trader. The reason we were interested in the small trader is because it has historically been shown that the small trader tends to be most bullish at the top and most bearish at the bottom. If we could only determine that, that would be a really great tool. Back in the 1980s, I started accumulating what I call the Daily Sentiment Index. The Daily Sentiment Index is a measure of small trader sentiment, which we can quantify. I want you to look at this chart. This is a chart of the S&P Daily. The green line at the bottom of the chart shows percentage bullish response. So that you can see, for example, all the way up here, approximately 85% of respondents to our survey were bullish, and that preceded a market top. If we look at the extreme sell-off over here in 2014, showing market sentiment all the way down at the bottom, 6.5%, 7% on average, which preceded this huge rally that culminated in this very high sentiment top, which preceded a drop in the market. For a long time, day after day after day, traders are neutral as the market goes along sideways. Right over here, traders dip into a very low sentiment area, which correlates with the bottom, but not the absolute low of this move. Several days later, another bottom occurs. Now, I like to use this lower cutoff number as my extreme value. Take a look at what's been happening recently. Yes, we're in a panic. The lowest sentiment that we've seen in a long time is right down here, which occurred on this particular day, August the 20th. On August the 20th, we had the lowest sentiment in a long time, which preceded one of the biggest rallies over the shortest period of time that we've ever seen. Sentiment has dropped down again on the decline which we've seen in the last couple of days. The question is sentiment low enough to trigger a bottom? The best way to use sentiment is with a timing trigger. In other words, now that sentiment has dipped to extremely low levels, it indicates that the average trader is very negative on the market. If the theory is right, then the average trader is going to be wrong. We don't want to jump in and catch the falling knife. What we want to do is go to some of our valuable timing indicators and look for buy triggers. We don't want to be short this market. We want to buy in the next trigger. That next trigger could come after a new low for the move, or it could come within the next several days. What we do know is this: panic in the markets doesn't pay, whether it's panic buying or panic selling. The interesting thing about this indicator is that it's subscribed to by some of the largest hedge funds and traders in the world, who call it their own secret weapon. Remember, panic doesn't pay. We're going to be using this tool in some of our recommendations. I'll turn it over to Elliot and he'll tell you more about that.
Market sentiment is one of the tools we use in highly volatile markets such as the one we're currently experiencing. This week, our Two Chimps Cast market report will discuss the use of market sentiment and major turning points. That's our 5-minute trading tip for today. Be sure to tune in next time for more great tips.
Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. If you have any suggestions, drop us a line. The last slide on this report shows you the places where we can be contacted. And do write us. We'd like to get your feedback. Thanks again, and good trading to you. Remember, don't panic.